I expect it will be quite an emotional thing for me to be in the heart of Silicon Valley, given what's happened to our family.
That was her birthday weekend. And then 2 days after she died.
They are turning over our kids' lives to algorithms.
Children are literally dying every day. It just needs to be shut down.
This isn't just for Molly, this is for every young, wasted life.
The government tells social media companies to take more responsibility for harmful online
14-year-old
content.
Molly Russell took her own life in 2017
Now,
after
the government
viewing...
is urging social media companies to take more responsibility for harmful online content.
These are companies that count their profits in the billions, and they turn around and say to us that they can't protect our children.
I think that's why Molly's story's probably taken off, that it is a modern day nightmare. I'm interested to find out what the attitude is in the States. I believe that although things have changed, I don't think they've changed quickly enough, and I don't think that the companies have taken it seriously enough.
I personally have had as young as a 7-year-old who have had a full-on attempt of suicide.
Free Hess is a paediatric doctor that works in an emergency room in Florida.
So we're going to see a young adult male who's here for a suicide attempt. When did you start harming yourself?
About the age of I was 12. Well, this one probably required stitches, but I didn't get it stitched at the time.
Any of these?
This one probably needed stitches also.
The numbers are rising rapidly. The ages are decreasing significantly.
Do you think this is connected with social media?
Absolutely. Absolutely a connection with social media.
Instagram.
When she's not working in the ER, Dr. Hess runs a website. There's a blog that she regularly does. There's lots of videos with advice so that parents can understand the sort of things their children might be getting up to online.
We can go right on in here, and that's pretty graphic.
That's graphic.
It doesn't get much more graphic than that. And it just continues on and on. I don't know that there's one picture here that's not showing blood or a scar of some sort. Like a grooming process that's happening on these platforms, and especially on Instagram, because you follow one hashtag to another hashtag to another hashtag, and it's grooming that person to self-harm more, consider suicide more, and maybe even take action on that. And so many of them are videos.
Oh.
So it's
That's horrible, deep.
a young girl sitting in a bathtub, slitting one wrist, followed by the other. I get teary watching it. It's awful. It could be one post that makes that child say, she did it, I can do it too.
I think I'm probably disappointed that there's so much material still just so easily found. I was rather hoping that the steps taken would have made it at least harder to find that stuff. Didn't think it would have all gone. Well, I knew it hadn't all gone, but there's just so much of it there.
And at 5:38, he found her lifeless body.
Diane Grossman is the mother of Mallory Grossman, Sadly, Diane's another parent bereaved by suicide, and she goes into schools and gives extraordinary talks to quite young children there.
I remember when I went to Kansas City, Missouri, one building, one high school, had 9 suicides in 1 year. 9 children. Hindsight is cruel. Hindsight is very cruel.
That's the toughest thing to cope with, isn't it?
It is. I share that people think that the worst day of my life was the day that she died, and I would say, no, it was the day before. It was the day before.
There's a million things you wish you'd done differently. To find images like this, telling people how to self-harm, telling people different ways of self-harming.
You can't fix me with the scars in the background. The tech companies, they should see parents like you and I and invite us to their boardroom and say, help us help you, right? If I could sit down at the table with Mark Zuckerberg, right, I would ask him, could I make your product better? Could I make it safer? What a great way for you to attaboy each other and high-five each other in the boardroom if you actually put in infrastructure and a system to protect children.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Keep up that work.
You too.
Bit of a pilgrimage because Molly could sing her way through all of Hamilton, and we'd got tickets to see in London. She was looking forward to going to see as a family, but January after her death we all went along missing one of us. Common Sense Media is a big American not-for-profit organisation, and it's run by Jim Steyer.
It's amazing to me that as a father you're willing to come out and do
He's
this, because I don't
determined to make
to do
the
what you're
internet a
It's hard
better
enough for me
place
to
for
talk about
people
it in my own-
to
as a
use.
parent who did. This is a huge problem, and the lack of responsibility of the social media platforms is absolutely mind-boggling and absolutely disgraceful. They are literally turning over our kids' lives. This is a matter of life and death in some cases, to algorithms. Algorithms that are focused on one thing only, increasing the number of views and therefore the advertising revenue for that platform. It is beyond disgraceful and beyond reprehensible. So it is clear to me that they can and should be regulated.
They're much harder to find. I think that there are still some, even if it's 1 in 100, that stay on the site because we haven't found them yet. Our technology hasn't become as strong as it needs to be to find all of them. I don't think we'll ever be in a place where every single image that violates our policies is off of our platform. But it's our responsibility to get that number to as close to 0 as possible. Molly's death, and more specifically the work that our parents have done in the wake of that tragedy, which I honestly can't begin to imagine what they have gone through. I have children of my own. But the work that they have done has raised an immense amount of awareness on an important issue for me personally, for Instagram more broadly, but also for the industry, and has translated into a lot of concrete changes in policies, changes to what shows up where on Instagram, more investment in finding people who might be at risk. And those effects are real and they're important.
So her legacy may be to make social media a safer place.
I I would deeply hope so. I would deeply hope so.
Absolutely sounds sincere. Just hope he delivers. Because every week that content is still there, and in the UK there are 4 more school-aged children who are dying by suicide, for example. There is a pressure of time. There's a pressure of time, and the price is the price of children's lives. So we're in Manhattan, and we're here to see the CEO of Crisis Text Line.
We can talk to you in a decision-making moment. Am I going to swallow this bottle of pills?
Nancy Lublin set Crisis Text Line up, and she's a real live wire, a real dynamo, lots of energy, lots of drive.
In our conversations with Molly's age group, with that 14 to 17-year-old age group, 38% of those conversations explicitly mention suicidal ideation.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most suicidal age group that we see. Here's the strange thing. I'd love to be put out of business. My dream, I'm not a for-profit. Crisis Text Line, Shout, we are not for profit. We are NGOs. We are here for the public good.
Yeah.
My real dream would be for us to go out of business someday because people don't need us anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now I'm in a growth business. Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Pain seems to be a growth business in both of our countries.
It's just such a waste. It's just so sad. So Alicia Valorous is another parent bereaved by suicide.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
Her daughter Alexandra ended her life completely unexpectedly.
We thought we had a daughter who was happy. We thought she was okay, and inside she was not.
That's you could be describing Molly.
So these were Alexandra's journals. We found these on the bridge.
That's just like a thing we found in Molly's books. These big, scrawly, angry words.
Yeah. I can't do this. Yeah, it just wasn't the girl we knew. Yeah, this is kind of hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other kids out there that are just like her and don't say anything, because it's not okay to talk about, so I'm glad it's starting to get talked about.
Is that one of the reasons you're talking?
I am, yeah. I want parents to know and I want kids to know that this is what happens when you don't speak up.
I think in many ways, Molly's with me every day, and I've wondered what she might have thought had she still been alive about such things. And I think she was such a force for good. She always wanted to help people. So I'm pretty certain that she would be pushing for change so that young people were safer when they were online, and that if they need help, they could more easily find it.